Everyone, welcome to another episode of Get Jashed. So today I'm super excited to have with me Reverend YaNi Davis. YaNi
Yeah.
is the peace pastor, a creative flow strategist, founder of My SupaNatural Life, and the mastermind behind the Peace Peoples movement, which is a blend of using hip hop, healing, the spoken word. You can explain more about that. I want to ask you more about that.
Yes.
And I refer to YaNi as, these are my words, I refer to YaNi as a prophet as well, because in her coaching work, or in their coaching work, you just have this knowing without a knowing. You have this knowing, and what you say rings true and lands in some really helpful, useful, guiding way. So to me, you are a bit of a prophet as well, YaNi. So thank you so much for joining me.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I just adore you and what you're up to in the world. And so being invited to be a guest is like, here we are. And I'm just
Ah,
grateful. I'm grateful.
I feel the same. I was like, I've got to have YaNi in. I love our conversations, and I love hearing what you have to say and what you have to share. And there's a lot to you and to your experience as well that is really useful for people to hear and understand. Um, Even beyond all of your work, you're also like a kidney transplant survivor, or I'm not sure if you
Yep.
use the word survivor, but you are, like, you're a conqueror. and,
Yes,
and also your work that
absolutely.
you do in the world as a non-gender conforming queer human being as well. It's really powerful to hear those different perspectives and different and learn more and understand more. So all of
Yeah.
the things, I kind of want to hear all of it, but we only have so much time. So
Okay. Whatever we can
maybe,
get to.
I know, maybe starting, because I want to hear more about what led you to the spoken word and what the spoken word is, and just starting there, I think. So what
Yeah.
is that to you?
So yeah, the spoken word, it is the generative power that we all have. Uh, right? The ability to express, right? The ability to call in, the ability to call out, the ability to make impact in the world with our words. And so as I think about the spoken word, I think about my lineage as a pastor. So I think about my grandfather, who was a bishop in Bermuda. I think about my dad, who has been in ministry for 44 years now, and how they use their words wisely to impact people, to share the good news, right? The good news of love and joy and compassion and community. And even what I will call the revolutionary walk of Jesus. So that is the lineage I come from, right? Of great leaders that have used their creativity, used their words, used their imagination to create a better reality for people. And so that's what I do, as in our coaching world, our world, maybe we'll call it, how we manifest, right? In our world, how we assist folks in getting to their greatness. And so for me, using my words wisely to lead people to deeper places of wholeness and to peace. So
Mm.
yeah, the spoken word. And it comes through in so many different ways. Yeah, as I share. Yeah.
It does. Like, there's so many different ways that you do share, but I think it's really, like, for anyone who knows me, but like even a fraction, like, they know that I'm about words and communication and how we
Yep.
communicate. So, like, your work to me is really inspiring because there's a freedom to it, but it's also on purpose. Like, there's an on purposeness to it,
Yep.
right? Yeah,
Yep.
it's just, I think there's a power to that when we harness that, of allowing our words to mean something and to matter, rather than just
Yeah.
having words for the sake of words.
Absolutely. I mean,
Mm.
communication, right, is so essential to how we
Mm.
show up in the world, right? To being in right relationship with people. Like I said, to being able to express ourselves well. Like how beautiful that we've been gifted communication, you know, and
Mm.
this language thing, to inspire folks and to love, right?
Mm.
Ultimately, it's about love for me.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
Yeah. Always been in the mind of leading people in love, right? So if we talk about self-love and self-care, there's so much to speaking well to ourselves, right? That impacts how we're able to show up in the world, and be in community with others and sharing that agape love, that communal love, that unconditional love, that I believe is the vibration that assists in like transforming the planet and elevating the people of the planet. And so as I even think about purposeful work, three of my tenets are peace, prayer, and power. Right.
Mm.
So even the communication that goes into prayer, is so valuable to our lives. So yeah, all that just leading back to love, God love, self-love, goddess love, spirit love, you know, a holy love, holy, WHOLLY, right? So kind of flipping how we think about holy, right? And even
Mm.
some of this culture that has been instilled in us around what's right, what's wrong, you know, how to navigate, how to be in the world. There's something about living holy, 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 WHOLLY, entirely and fully,
Mm.
that compels me to love myself deeper and to love the world even more. So, yeah,
I
yeah,
love that every time like I've been in sessions with you, even like a week ago, there was this there was
yeah,
the
yeah,
you were talking about that wholly and just the being whole and how we are whole in ourselves. And what I
yeah,
hear is when you talk about that communication and that spoken word and how we share and how we love and all of that, I don't hear it as a this or that. Like I don't hear it as a like a me or collectively. I hear it
yeah,
as
yeah,
it all serves all of it. Like when we serve
yeah,
ourselves and when we lovingly speak to ourselves, or when we lovingly choose those words from a wholer place
yep,
for ourselves, that's what also serves the collective as well, but it has to come from that place. And
yep,
I think what that highlights is like where there isn't that energy of love or of concern
mm-hmm.
collectively, it comes down to individual wounding and individual
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
neglect is the word that's coming to mind.
yep. It's
Yeah.
so big. Neglect is so big. And even I think about like abandonment, you know, and how
Mm-hmm.
that plays a role in our development as children, right? So then we get to adulthood. And I realize a lot of my work right now is assisting folks in like reparenting themselves in
Yeah.
some really cool and playful and like creative and out of the box ways, right? So even sometimes the homework I give or the assignments I give or the prompts I give
I love homework
are
from YaNi.
look and no, but you come ready for the homework, Jess. Everybody doesn't come ready for the homework. And like I feel like we've seen some like major breakthroughs in just like this short amount of time because you're like, okay, YaNi, yes, I'll do the homework, you know. So I love that. I love that. Like our connection is one where we can establish that flow, right? Where we can tap into the collective of love, right? The vibration of love, and how I get to learn from you in the same ways you get to learn from me, right? And there's this mutual pouring that happens, as we think holistically, right? As we think about our wellness. And so, yeah. yeah, just doing the work to lead people in love. And even as I see you there in your Peace People apparel,
Yeah,
your
I
Peace
had to wear
People
it today.
apparel, yes. um the words they come through, right? So you're
Mm,
wearing the ascension is real, right? I when the manufacturer sent me a message, they were like, oh, we're kicking this to our Australian company partners for this printing. I was like, wait, what? Australia, hold on, we're
me.
international again.
Yeah.
um so it's just amazing, right? How these words can
Mm,
spread across the world, across the waters, and make an impact. And so when I think about people wearing Peace People apparel, it's the thought that right, our motto was wrapped in peace and clothed in love, right? So that's what
mm,
I wanted for people, right? And so now I think about it as peace never goes out of style. Peace never goes out of style.
mm.
And so, yeah, that's just what I try to be about. Preacher, prophet, poet,
I
giving
love
people
that
love
so
via
much.
words. Yeah.
How has that impacted your journey? Like what was your journey? Because you spoke about this
Yeah.
lineage and it's a really rich lineage, but I know that you've gone through quite a bit to say the
Yes.
least. How do you feel like that's made a difference in your journey, if you want to share?
Yes. So growing up, kind of conservative Christian background, right? And in a lot of ways, I had to sort of break away from some of the indoctrination I had received as a
Mm,
child. Um, Not necessarily in my household, but as I experienced other communities, right? Realized the limitations it felt like on people's ability to love and like show this
mm,
God love. So when I got to college, right, took some time away from the church and went exploring, like, okay, what's Buddhism saying? What are African religious traditions saying? Um, what is my spirit saying around how I want to be and how I want to show love in the world? And so then did the work of going to seminary, actually. So got
mm,
my master's of divinity, where I was studying God and studying the roots of religion and tradition, and dispelling some of the myths and half truths, right, that I had taken on.
mm,
Then I got into this coaching world where I'm like providing care for people of the world in this other kind of way. And it's definitely been a journey, reconciling my sexuality, my spirituality, and my sensuality, so that I can live wholly, I can live authentically, and I can live in a true way, and reach the people of the world. Even as a kidney
mm,
transplant survivor, had that dark night of the soul where I was
mm.
on dialysis 12 hours at night, where I had edema in my feet swollen this big, kidneys popping out in my back, neuropathy all through my body, tingling constantly, pain constantly. Losing my vision at one point. My hearing has subsided. I had lost cognitive ability, right? I was down to 75 pounds with plastic tubing coming out of me to stay alive. And in the midst of all of that, right, had to tap into this deep love for self, right? This deep love for being on the planet, this deep love, recognizing that miracles are real, and that at some point I would experience life more abundantly again. And
Mm.
so I give thanks for the journey of reconciling, through healing, reconciling through investigation, reconciling through grieving, right? Reconciling through unearthing, all that I needed to know in this life. And so, yeah, here I am. Here I am just doing the
I'm
work.
I'm so glad you're here. Like
Yes.
it sounds like there's this real integration of being, right? Like, and I'm so glad, like from my perspective, I'm so glad, because I love what you share. But you know, for your own self and your own inner peace, your own
Yep.
inner knowing, and that inner, like that grace of yourself as well, is like this integration. You didn't stay in the, I'm going to call it a trap. It may not have felt like a trap for you, but you
Mm-hmm.
didn't stay in the trap
Sure.
of like, oh, well, like Christianity or being who I
Mm-hmm.
am or
Yeah.
this or that. You really stepped into the space of the both, and the I get to be both and all of it, because I'm a multifaceted human being and I get to have
Yep.
multifaceted experiences, and
Yep. I
and there's
see
a
the God
richness in
in
it.
I see the God in you, and I honor your soul. Should have run out of some stories from the words that I told, but angels and ancestors, they send them at night when the darkness and the pain make me put up a fight. Is it that? Is it this? To the right, to the left, a curse or a gift? I guess I won't know till I come to the end, but every ending is a chance to begin again. As a tree stretches up all the way to the sky, as above, so below, so our spirits never die. Just want to be an inspiration and a vessel of light. So every night we manifest all the dreams of our lives. Yeah. To the right, to
Ah,
the left, you know. Is it that? Is it this? A curse or a gift? But here we are doing the work, Jess. We're doing the
I
work.
love it. Ah, I'm just like, just keep talking. Like, tell me more. I'm getting caught up
Ah,
in like your
that
hosting.
yeah, that makes me feel good that I'm talking good. You know, I feel like,
Oh, of
those
course.
around me would be like, oh, okay, Yanni, I don't know about that. But it feels
No,
good, to be
I
able
want,
to just share.
yeah, I want to
Yep.
highlight as well. Like, I feel like there's something, I don't know what exactly, but there's something hilarious and divine about both of us being in the car right now. Like, I've never recorded one of the podcasts in the car, and I was like, you know what, it's just gonna work. And like, you called me on the way, and but there's something in that of, I was feeling into it on the way after we got off the phone before we got on this. And I
Yeah,
feel like there's something in that of not needing things to be perfect to be in touch,
that's it.
to share a message, or to tap into our own messages, right? Like, we don't need to
Yeah,
be before an altar necessarily, even though that can be a beautiful place to be. We don't need to
yep,
be um in a physical place of
yeah.
worship to worship ourselves and our experience, or to be in touch
Mm.
with our own experiences, right?
Ooh, wee. Right.
Right.
Absolutely. Um, it definitely makes me think of they talk about, we are the church. Wherever we are the church,
Mm,
right? But like, it makes me think that like wherever we are, like we are love, right? We are the
mm.
messengers, right? And also that you and I, we are on the move, right?
Yeah,
We're on
yeah.
the
Oh,
move,
yeah.
right? We're
Ooh.
taking the messages to the people, right? We're
Mm,
literally coming from doing the work, right? And then we drop in for a moment to do more of the work and share it with the world. Like, we just so happen to both be in our cars. I have never record in all of my years of podcasting, maybe 10 years of being invited on podcasts, never in my car. But here we are on the
yeah,
move, loving the people, ascending, and getting the message out.
yeah. Right. Like, it's
Yep.
I've done one live stream from the car because I had to as well, and that was recently, and I think that probably set me up for like the, oh, you can do this anywhere, because I really enjoyed
Anywhere.
it. Like, I was in the flow in the car, and right now, like, I mean, I'm lucky it's not summer. I'm lucky it's not summer here. Otherwise, I'd be like a dog stuck in a hot car.
And it got
Just
right,
like,
right.
help,
Well, it's hot here. It's
help.
92 degrees here. So giving thanks for the AC,
Oh
keeping
yeah,
cool.
but it's just,
I have you,
yeah.
yeah,
You
I'm
go.
listening.
Mm.
I was just gonna say, kind of reminds me of I don't know if you've ever seen, taxi cab confessionals or,
Yeah.
one of those shows from the car, right? We're doing a whole new thing. Like, look,
Right. And
coaching in the car.
exactly. And how many like of those deep conversations in life have you had in a car? Like not even in a back seat. I don't mean like that, but like, like how many like of those
But
deep
there's
conversations.
some healing in that too.
Yeah. But like how many of those conversations have you had where you've just like pulled up somewhere, maybe on like just a back street or maybe somewhere with a view or whatever, and you're just with someone and it all comes pouring out, whether it feels good or not. Like it's all there, right?
This is where I do my best writing, right? Like I'm able
Yeah.
to crank up the music as loud as I want without disturbing
Mm.
anybody, right? I'm able to yell and scream and practice and perform and like do what I need to do right from this car seat,
Mm.
So it's that gift of the spirit, right? It dwells within all of us. That energy, it dwells
Mhm.
within all of us. So it don't matter where we are, you know. There's the end of this prayer that says, wherever I am, God is, and all is well. So
Mm.
I live by that. I definitely live by that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about the words all is well that it's been landing for me, like speaking to me. It's just like little message every now and then. It's like all is well. And I'm like, okay, I gotta listen.
Yep.
I gotta believe that. But
Yeah.
it's this I think there's something powerful in that, whether you refer to it as God or the universe or spirit, or
Yep.
to me it's all one and the same. To me it's all one and the
Yep.
same, but it's all love. It's just all that. But um
That's it.
where like
Yeah.
whatever you do have a belief in or not a belief in, it's that reminder that I feel like a lot of people might need right now also, like right now for the last 18 months, but like right now is like we like there is, I keep filtering because I don't want to dismiss other like people's lived experiences also, but like there is a safety and
Yep.
we are okay and we are supported and we can tap into that inner love at the very least. Like, we can tap
Yes.
into our inner knowing. And like I'll often talk to like what's coming to mind is like I do work at the army base and with the soldier recovery center, and
Yeah.
it's really beautiful when they ask questions of like, well, when should I meditate, or like what time in the day, and la la la, and it's reframing. And I go in and I explain to them, like, because it can be such a woo woo concept also, like I'm like, oh, we're going to talk about meditation, woo. And they're just like, and I know that it can be like a say like, what now, no, like
Yeah.
this is too far-fetched, like give me, like this isn't for me. But I go in and I say, like, we're gonna create a new understanding of the word meditation and what that means for you and what that mindfulness means to you. And it's that element of, it comes back to you don't need to be in a particular place to
No.
be able to access it, like physical place,
Yep.
whether it's in a car. And I give them examples, like when you're surfing or when you're slacklining or when you're doing something like that, there is an inherent mindfulness at play. There is a mindfulness
Yep.
that is happening. There is a moving meditation. There is a something you're dropping into the present moment because you're in the present moment, because you got to be, or you're going
That's
to
it.
fall off.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be like sitting up, like legs in, like legs
Right.
in
Right.
lotus
No.
with the arms out. That can be really nice too if you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
that. It gets to be like sitting really not ergonomically in the car. Like
Right.
like
Look, I have my Lego. Like,
it can be
yeah.
in a moment. It can be something that comes to you as you're walking into the grocery store. It can be this, like, it doesn't have to be an hour-long thing either. It gets to be this moment
No.
of knowing, and then trusting that brief flashing moment of knowing.
Yep. That's it. That knowing, and in therapy, that's been coming up a lot, right? Like that knowingness, and also that I call it going back inside, right? Like that making this internal reality home, right, while we're here for a little while. So I even think about, I taught mindfulness and hip hop up in Northern California for a while, and working with the youth, right, middle school, high school aged youth, right, and showing them what it means to just be still with yourself, right, what it means to do a body scan, what it means to write some rhymes, right, in a mindful way, right, what it means to eat mindfully, what it means to heal your nervous system, right, what it means to send heartfulness to other people. Or when I was in India, when I was working with about 800 homeless boys for the summer, helping to implement an arts curriculum. 6 o'clock in the morning, my boys would be doing yoga, right? Before they get into soccer, before they get into theater, right? Before they get into personal development, before they come to do art with me. There were times where my boys would be doing art for the 3 hours, right? Doing their work, 3 hours in it, whatever it was, the assignment was for the day. And then all of a sudden the lights would go out, and my boys would sit there with, you know, whatever glimmer of light they could get, you know, a phone. We take out our phones, we take out whatever we could, emergency battery packs, all because they were being mindful and locked into their art, right? As that essence of life, that like creative, imaginative moment that they just longed for. So, right, whether we're talking about elders, whether we're talking about folks on the base, whether we're talking about us in the car, right, that mindfulness is always available to us.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
always.
And so, sometimes it's more potent and powerful when we haven't planned it either. Like, you know, like there's something about just this right now, and like this is different to what it would have been if I'd been at home doing it. And I don't know why, because like home is great, you know, like it's not, I don't know why, but I think not necessarily questioning why all of the time is helpful as well.
Like we're both in the car. It's what time here? We started 5 o'clock my time, Pacific time. It's what 9 there? 9 a.m.
We started at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
my
your
time the next day.
Yep. Like you're in the future, but we're like having this moment together, right? How cool is that, to defy space and time?
I love that for us too. Like there's just this, I don't like to live in limitations. Like if, you know, I'm just like, let's have both things, or let's, you know, like let's not let literal, where you're West Coast, so let's not let literal, I don't know, 10,000 kilometers make a difference. Like, and especially over time and like over that distance, like let's not let that stop what we want to be doing with our lives. Let's just let ourselves experience it all.
We all connected, why not?
Oh my God,
why not?
YaNi, will you come back and do another part? Because I just want to.
Yes, anytime. This has been such an honor. Like, oh my God, I love that this is gonna go forth on the radio waves and the interwebs and wherever else. You got my heart, babe, and I'm here for you.
Thank
I'm
you.
Here for you, for real.
Tell me and tell everyone listening or watching where they can find you, because there is a lot that they can find you on, because I know they can find you on like Spotify. So go nuts. I'll put it all in the captions, but go nuts.
Yep. Okay, family. So to keep you up on the new, We got some new clothes coming through Peace People Apparel. You can find it at peacepeopleapparel.com. Everybody, you can head to my website and find everything. Find the music, find the clothing. Actually about to launch a tea company, My SupaNatural Tea, to help support the nonprofit that I have, providing holistic communal care for folks via coaching, creativity, and community. Find me on Instagram at YaNi with one N. YaNi means peace. And yeah, just find my love frequency wherever you are. Tap in at any moment, knowing that I love you, knowing that you are peace, that we are establishing more peace in the world, and that now is our time to just go forth before all nations, leading them in love, leading them in love. And yeah, whoisYaNi.com.
Thank you so much
Yes.
for just sharing you and being you, and for doing the work that you do in the world. It's definitely, it definitely makes an impact. And I know I'm so grateful for just like the little piece of it that I've experienced. So yeah, and thank you so much for joining me. I love our conversations and I'm excited to have more.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jess.